Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Kia Sonet and this is the GT Line trim which we are driving today. This is the top of the line diesel automatic. Yes, that's right. It is the diesel automatic and that is the engine CRD at 16 valve. There's no insulation right there, which is quite surprising. Engine bay is actually decent sized, but it's so hot right now. Oh my god, that is really very hot. The car looks really very nice. In fact, it obviously has the traditional Kia design elements which looks staggeringly good. In fact, you get this null finish on the chrome as well and gloss black finish on the front grille along with red inserts too, because obviously this is the GT line. A lot of chrome on this car, Kia logo. This blue paint finish looks absolutely stellar on this vehicle, and the lights are of course LEDs on this car and they look really nice as well. Though this is the LED DRL, these are the LED lights. Doesn't get a projector setup, but the fog lamps are not LEDs on this car. You get a chrome surround here along with gloss black finishing. They played a lot with colors. Front parking sensors. Obviously you've got the towing hook at the front as well and a red color finish on the front bumper, and this is kind of unnecessary, but this is a design element nonetheless. What do you think of the design of the car? I think it looks really very rad, of course, at the front, but when you come to the side you realize this is a small car. Of course, it's a sub 4 meter compact SUV. Well, that is a misnomer because no car in this segment is an SUV if they don't have 4-wheel drive. And of course, this is a front wheel drive car. Now this being the GT line gets red colored brake calipers up front and red finish around the Kia logo, which is itself getting a gloss black surround. Meanwhile, the tire size happens to be 215/60/16s. Alloy wheel design looks really nice. You get this body cladding running all through the car. You get the red treatment here. You get chrome treatment on the door handles. You also get the chrome treatment below the window line, and there's gloss black finish here. Not gloss black, it's actually black finish here. And you get a roof rail as well. Roof rails are there. I don't think they're functional. You get a shark fin antenna and you see the finishing of the roof. Well, quite nice as such. And you actually get the indicator here as well. Yeah, on the outside rear view mirrors. Meanwhile, let me show you the indicator as well. So that is the indicator of the car. Well, actually doubles up as a DRL. So DRL doubles up as the indicator, vice versa, whatever you want to call it. And there you see the indicator is blinking here on the outside rear view mirrors as well. Let's get up front and let me show you the DRL. Yeah, so multi-function, which actually every brand is doing right now. They are using the LED DRL in lieu of the indicator as well. So from the side it looks kind of small and there are some real crazy elements on this car, like this finish here. Yeah, no Nike or Adidas logo like in the case of the Ignis, of course, but yeah, there's some design treatment and gets a gloss black finish here as well. It says caution, do not load, because obviously these are not functional roof rails. At the rear, Kia continues to offer you fake exhaust tips and also it continues to offer you fake diffuser as well. So you get this continuous treatment for the light too, and the lights actually look very nice indeed, but the indicators and the reverse lamp is not an LED. The brake light is LED, rest are not LED. It says GT line right here. This is the reflector of the car. The bumper is finished in black and also gets this gloss black finishing along with the red treatment and the silver treatment for these fake exhaust surrounds. Yeah, the exhaust is fake AF. The real exhaust happens to be on the other side. I'll just show that to you as well. So this is where the real exhaust of this car is. Actually, it's on that side, Faisal. What are you doing? Okay, this is where the real exhaust of the car is. I don't know why they do fake exhaust, but you can see the bottom of the car, the underbody of the car. Looks quite nice. Says Sonet there on the left side. So what do you guys think about the design? I think the design is really very nice. They've nailed it. In order to open the boot, you have to press this button here, and there the boot opens. Now the boot is actually decent sized as such, and you've got a light placement here as well. This is actually the subwoofer because it gets a 7-speaker Bose sound system, and the spare wheel is of course not an alloy. Size happens to be 195/60/515, so smaller sized wheel as well. So cost cutting done there. Actually, the seat does not recline in 60/40 split. It reclines in one big fat seat falls down. That didn't sound right. Let's open this. Okay, you have to press it from inside to open it. Alright, the seats are actually very comfortable, very nice. Recline angle is also decent as such, and you don't get a center headrest. Floor is almost flat, little bit of a hump there, but you know what, you get a center armrest which gets twin cup holders. Yeah, there are twin cup holders for the center armrest. The seat can be reclined in one piece only. Yeah, you press this, you can recline the seat one piece. 60/40 should have been offered. Rear AC vents are placed right here. You get a USB charging socket right there, and you get storage space here as well. Seat back is not scooped out, but there is a magazine holder right there. Seat angle could have been a little bit more reclined, but I think it's quite comfortable. Headroom is not really much for a tall passenger like me. Actually, it's quite adequate as such. Yeah, there is space above my head. So yeah, they've done a good job as far as headroom goes, and under thigh support is decent. Legroom, knee room could have been better. So not really very spacious here in the second row. In the rear seat, actually there's no second row as such, because it is not a 3-row car. So small quarter glass here, there's a hook here, there's a handle, there's a light placement in the center, and you get a handle here but no hook. Seat belts do not get the height adjust function, which should have been offered, and the cabin isn't wide enough to seat 3 people, just not very spacious at the rear. There are cars which offer more space at the rear for sure, trust me on that. So yes, the Sonet is more of a 2-seater with the occasional rear seat passenger, of definitely good for kids as well. Now you get the red stitching right here, and it says Bose, that's the audio system on this car of course, and the storage space at the rear on the doors is also nice. I actually like the treatment which has been done. Yeah, plastics are hard, but Kia has done a great job in terms of playing a lot with the colors. This is the rear wiper of the car. You get a stop lamp as well, high mounted stop lamp. There's a request sensor here. Is there a request sensor on the other side? Of course it's not there. Yeah, there is no request sensor on the other side. Okay, all Maruti cars come with request sensor on both the sides. So do the MG cars, but Kia and Hyundai do not offer you a request sensor on both the sides. The front seats are even more comfortable. Obviously that red stitching is everywhere. Door pockets are big enough at the front as well. These are the controls for the power windows, but only the driver's side gets illuminated at night. So cost cutting has been done, and only the driver's side rolls down automatically. It does not do it does an auto roll up as well. That's a good thing, but only for the driver's side. These are actually the controls for the outside rear view mirrors, and these are the controls to lock or unlock the vehicle. See the treatment for the tweeters, really well done on this car. And the seat says GT Line. Seats are very nice and comfortable. I love the seats on this car. Okay, there's a proper dead pedal right there. This is the fuse box. This is to open the hood of the car. This is to turn on and off the parking sensors, both front and rear parking sensors on this car. And this is the traction control button. This is the headlight leveler. This is the engine start stop button. I didn't show you the reverse parking camera now, did I? Okay, you see, these are the reverse parking sensors, nicely camouflaged. The reverse parking camera is nicely integrated right in the light. So design elements are really, really nice on this car. It says UO power to connect. Lot of stickers here and there to tell you what this Sonet is all about. The dashboard actually looks pretty nice and sporty as well. And once I get inside, I realize that build quality is nice, but the dashboard will remind you a little bit of the Seltos, not much. Only the infotainment system, which happens to be a 10.25 inch unit. It's a fab infotainment system. I really like it. You get an auto dimming inside rear view mirror. You don't get a mirror here. Obviously, you don't even get it on the Seltos. Then how can you get it on the Sonet? And there is toll receipt holder too. That's nice. There is a mirror here, of course, but there is no light placement. Okay, there's a sunglass holder right there, and light placement is on the top here. Meanwhile, it gets a sunroof. Well, the sunroof size is on the smaller side. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the car. There it opens. Yeah, that's a nice sunroof, but you have to press it once more to open it completely. Okay, it gets an air purifier with bacteria protection and virus protection as well. Okay, this is where the air purifier is. You can see it right now. This is the air purifier, and when you turn it on, well, that is the display it gives you. Is it on? That is the button to press, and that makes the noise. It's telling you the AQI right now. Okay, so it's got an air purifier, which obviously even the Venue gets. Its other sibling from the same mother or whatever. The infotainment is a really nice and easy to read unit. It's very slick. It's got maps. It's got UO Connect, which is basically Kia's connected car tech. It's got 57 connected car features, including OTA map updates, and you can spot the car roll up and down the windows and whatnot. Okay, a lot of AC controls here, but easy to operate. That's actually a good thing. This is actually the display for the air conditioning. Meanwhile, the glove box is decent size. It gets the cooling function as well. Now, in terms of the appearance of the dashboard, this gets a black dashboard, which kind of looks sporty but doesn't give it the big feel. However, it might not look bad in terms of quality. It's not bad in terms of quality. It only has a lot of hard plastics, more so lower down, a lot of hard plastics on the dashboard of this vehicle. Now, everything wraps around you. Yeah, this infotainment system, the steering, which is the GT Line spec steering, which gets a flat bottom. You get the red stitching here. Beautiful controls. The buttons are really very nice. Now, this is obviously for the cruise control. This is to browse through that instrument cluster, which gets a 4.2 inch screen. So the digital speedometer is here on the left side, and you see the tachometer, the fuel meter, as well as the temperature meter are all analog, which actually is a good thing. You get a 4.2 inch screen right in the center. You get a tire pressure monitoring system. Okay, this is telling you various data of the car, like fuel economy. You can browse through this. It gives you accumulated information like how much you have driven the car on this particular trip, as well as the time you've driven it and what is the fuel economy that you have got from this vehicle. Anyways, when you browse through this, you also get a compass here, not the Jeep kind. Tire pressure monitor is in the right place. Trust me on this. Okay, that's about it. Not much to talk about, but it's very legible and easy to read. I love the red stitching on this car. This piano black finish, and that panel also looks really very slick. The AC vents are also nice and big. And look at the treatment which they're given everywhere. So design is really the highlight here. Now obviously it gets a wireless charger with a cooling function. Yeah, there's a cooling function so that your phone does not heat, because with wireless charging obviously your phone heats. So that is the wireless charger of the car. There is storage space here. There is a 12-volt charging socket. There are 2 USB ports here as well. Meanwhile, there's storage space here in the center, along with a key holding slot. Yeah, there's a slot to put the key. So I just remove the key from my pocket and we'll put it right there. Yeah, it fits right here so that it doesn't move along much. Okay, that is my sweat. Sorry about that. Below the front center armrest also there is storage space, but not much, because actually it's the air purifier which eats into the space, of course, and it says Kia right here. Who's going to go there and see what is the writing there? Does it say Kia? Yes, it does. Oh my god, wow. Okay, you get a manual handbrake. And the gear lever feels nice to operate. You get the piano black finish. You get this design treatment. So that design treatment is almost everywhere, which looks really very nice. Now, of course, Kia has loaded this car with a ton of information, including sound mode lamp, which is similar to the Seltos. Basically, what it does is it has these ambient light colors which keeps changing. It gets ambient lighting. It gets a reverse parking camera. So I'll just show you the reverse parking camera. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets adaptive guidelines as well, and of course, front and rear parking sensors too. Car is pretty loaded. It gets 6 airbags as well, and this is so slick, this system. Okay, I was showing you the smart air purifier. You can turn this button and there it turns on with virus protection. I don't even know how that works, but it's a cool thing nonetheless. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you name it. This car is loaded with a ton of information. It's got navigation as well. It's got voice commands too. So yeah, very slick system. In fact, I've already shown everything with the Seltos. How, when you're navigating, it has these 3 screens. Really fluid to use, and you can obviously customize everything as and how you like it. So these things are customizable. See the map, really very nice. Very slick map. Here you go. Oh my god, that is so well done. Really good job, Kia. Really good job. But how is the audio? Let's play the audio right away. Audio quality is really very nice from this Bose sound system. However, there are no physical controls here. In order to operate the volume, you have to do that, and the person sitting next to you has to go all the way, take a Uber cab, and then only change the volume. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult because it's very far. However, for the driver, of course, you can operate the audio system using these controls. This is for the voice commands, and these are obviously the very nicely put together buttons for the volume as well as to change a track of this vehicle. Now, of course, it also gets a driver rear view monitor, which is the case with almost every Hyundai Kia car right now. Just need to browse through that and get to it because I have not configured it yet, but it's not here. It is actually here. This is the button to get into the driver rear view monitor, which gives you a rear feed when you're driving the car, which we obviously turn on when we're driving the car. It's got drive and traction modes, so 3 drive modes and 3 traction modes. Okay, the 3 traction modes happen to be snow, mud and sand. When you change it, it actually shows it in the instrument cluster. Same is the case with the drive modes as well. There's eco, there's normal, and there is sport as well. Okay, it's telling you the temperature right below as well as the odometer of the car right there, and a distance to empty meter on the top. Yeah, it's saying 898 kilometers to distance to empty. That is a massive range thanks to this very frugal diesel engine on offer. Meanwhile, you obviously get ventilated front seats as well, which is a very cool feature. I'll buy this car only for this feature alone because it is phenomenal. I'll tell you why in a bit. Obviously, steering can be adjusted only for height. That's about it. And these are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really well. There's a lot of spray on offer as well. It obviously gets a rear wiper too, and there's an intermittent function for the rear wiper as well with 2 speeds, which is really very nice. You can see the wiper functioning. Okay, good amount of spray on offer here. And these are obviously the controls for the headlights. It gets automatic headlights but doesn't get automatic wipers. How is it to drive? Well, let's get driving right away. Alright, let's get going. Straight away we get into drive mode and we are off. Of course, it's a diesel automatic, one of the unique combinations of powertrain in the segment, and that smoothness and refinement is there, but I still do not understand why Kia has not given insulation in the hood of this car, because you can hear a bit of the diesel which gets quite vocal as you start pushing it around. Now, immediately I can tell you that the suspension is on the stiffer side when you compare it to the Venue. Yeah, this Venue suspension is also on the stiffer side, but this is even more stiffer, and that stiffness can be felt. The problem is that in spite of the stiffness, it doesn't really lend its sporting handling characteristics, rather sporty handling characteristics, which is a bit of a surprise. You can feel it on expansion joints, the stiffness. Yeah. And the problem is that the suspension is not the most silent as such. It is a suspension which is on the noisier side. The steering is on the wake side. It doesn't offer you feel or feedback as such. yeah, it doesn't feel scary at higher speeds, but doesn't feel fluid at all, and the car doesn't offer you much grip as well. I know the video's driving part starts with a bit of a disappointment because there was a lot of expectation for a car which looks this gorgeous in terms of the design, in terms of the way they have done the exterior as well. The sportiness is there, but neither is the ride great, neither is the handling great on this car. So what is good? First and foremost, this is not about pushing the car hard and fast. They obviously raised the ground clearance of the vehicle. They put a suspension on the stiffer side for some bit of sporty handling, but the grip from the tires and the way the chassis responds is just not in line somehow, which is the reason why the Sonet doesn't feel that great to drive. Now for the diesel, of course, the suspension is still on the stiffer side, and this is the top of the line diesel because the regular diesel model actually produces lesser power at 100 horsepower and 240 Newton meters. This is the automatic, and the automatic gets the variable geometry turbocharger, which lends it more power, 115 horsepower, 15 more horsepower, and 10 Newton meters more torque at 250 Newton meters, which obviously makes a big difference as well. We are right now driving in eco mode, so let's just change the mode and get into sporty. As soon as you get into sporty, you can feel the immediate enthusiasm from this engine. It actually wakes up and pushes harder. So I believe that the performance, or rather the output numbers in eco mode, is somewhere around 95 horsepower, going to around 105 horsepower in normal mode, and of course in sport mode it gives you the full 115 PS of power. Becomes quite vocal, this engine. Braking performance is nice. Yeah, the tires, I'm not happy with the tires. They could have offered more grip for sure. Traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs till 2000 RPM. And off we go. Little bit of wheel spin on offer. This motor is quite refined, but gets vocal in the top end of the rev range, and red lines around 4,500 RPM. So it's got a decent low end. Actually, it feels very drivable. Lag is well contained. Mid range is really very strong, and then of course it loses breath in the top end. In fact, you can manually take control of the gas using the Triptronic function, but there's no sport mode for the gearbox as such. Okay, this is basically the manual mode. When you shift it, it shows you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but we're already in the sport mode of the drive modes. That is, the drive modes have sport mode, so the gearbox obviously doesn't need sport mode. Downshifting here, coming into third gear. This is a torque converter gearbox. This is a 6-speed torque converter gearbox, which is smooth with shifts, not the fastest around, but does the job well for a car of this character. So as I see it, this Sonet offers a lot of smoothness and comfort, although the suspension is not the most pliant, something which even the Venue has not managed to offer a really pliant ride, which in the case of the Creta and the Seltos, obviously the Creta is so much more smoother and more refined in terms of the ride as well. The ride on this car is good at moderate speeds. So at low speeds it suffers, at high speeds it suffers, and doesn't really track very well at higher speeds because, it crashes through bad roads because of the stiff suspension on offer. However, the steering actually does not scare you silly at all. It remains composed, but just doesn't offer you the feel and feedback you would expect from a car in 2020. Yeah, some amount of wheel spin on offer as well. Obviously that wheel spin is expected because the engine is quite punchy. It's a very nice diesel engine because performance is never lacking in Hyundai Kia's diesel engines. They're really very nice. It's really very good that Kia has actually offered us this amazing drive modes on a car of this segment, and obviously the driver rear view monitor also works really nice because you get a good view of what's behind you. I prefer this over Honda's lane watch because it gives you a view of both the sides, left as well as right. Now of course the diesel engine is obviously going to be more expensive, so we're going to talk a bit about the petrol engine. There are two petrol engines on offer. There's a 1.2 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine which comes with a 5-speed manual gearbox. There is of course a 1 litre TGDI motor, which I think will be the pick of the lot, which you already driven it in the Venue as well. It gets two gearbox options. You obviously get the 7-speed DCT and the 6-speed IMT, and the IMT is a lot of fun, but the DCT is again segment leading along with the Venue of course. The diesel comes with a 6-speed manual as well. This 6-speed torque converter is something unique which is not offered in the Venue, and because this is not offered in the Venue, this is again something which will give Kia an upper hand in the segment. Now Kia has the GT line, so Hyundai also has brought in the sport version of the Venue. Similar treatment with red here and there, but obviously Kia does it better somehow with a lot more design elements, giving it the sporty and premium appeal with its GT line trim. Now, performance is never lacking in this car. I believe it will take 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Rather, it will go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour somewhere around 12.5 seconds, which is actually quite quick for a car of this price. The car is of course on the lighter side. You cannot feel the lightness of the vehicle at all because it doesn't feel light, it doesn't feel heavy, it feels moderate. In fact, this car is best described as a moderate car in almost every sense because the ride is good at moderate speeds, the handling is good at moderate speeds. At low speeds, that stiffness can be felt. At higher speeds, again, it doesn't feel very composed because the suspension and the tires, they're not so well calibrated for sporty driving, but they're not really well calibrated for comfortable driving as well. So that's kind of weird and awkward. Okay, so I think Kia's tried to become more sporty here, but in that sense, you know, going towards sportiness, they've actually missed their target. This is no Ford EcoSport in any sense. Even the Tata Nexon feels more composed to drive, but the Nexon's petrol engine has a lot of flat spots. Obviously, Hyundai Kia engines are really very nice and smooth. The 1.2 litre petrol is not sporty. Actually, it doesn't have much performance, but then they have the 1 litre TGDI motor, which is a fab unit, absolutely fantastic. You want to kick down, it gives you that very quickly. Paddle shifters would have been a nice touch, but then that would have pushed the price of this car even further. Now let's see what would be the price of this car. First and foremost, the Venue is priced between 8 lakhs to 14 lakhs. Yeah, 8 lakhs to 14 lakhs almost on road Mumbai. So this car will be priced again starting from 8 lakhs, going all the way to almost 15.25 lakhs for the top of the line diesel automatic which you're driving today. Diesel automatic is not available in the Venue, so of course the price is justified, the additional price, but 15.25 lakhs for this car, you might think it's expensive, but with the same engine and similar features, top of the line, the Seltos actually cost it costs more than 20 lakhs. So 5 lakh price difference between the Sonet and the Seltos, of course, which obviously tells you that the amount of tax you're going to be paying to the Indian government just to get above 4 meters is actually quite drastic as well. And somehow right now we are in a Hyundai Kia sandwich. Actually, Kia is खाने के बीच में क्या डालते हैं सैंडविच के अंदर जो मसाला होता है, नहीं उसको क्या बोलते हैं बीच वाली चीज़ को, बर्गर के पैटी क्या बोलते हैं. ओके, दिस Kia is the patty because right in front we have a Verna, then behind we have a Santo, there's another Verna there. The Koreans have taken over. Now the best thing about this car in the city is that it's so comfortable to drive as long as you're on good roads. Over bad roads, if you speed up a bit now, you can feel the stiffness, but for the most part you will never have a problem because the steering is just so easy to twirl on this car. And I love the fact that everything is centered around the driver. Sorry Neha, but that's how it is. That's how you do it. That's how you spin the wheels without getting left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. You get off quickly and it puts all the torque down. Traction control, not of much use because you love to spin the wheels as well. Meanwhile, we get into manual control of things. It actually takes 4th gear to cross 100 kilometers per hour. So yeah, the gearing is not really tall as such. And I love how the speedometer is so readable. The tachometer reminds you a bit of the Creta, so that's kind of weird. Even the Creta has the tachometer in one corner completely. So as I see it, the Kia Sonet is a brilliant car, very well loaded, but it's not sporty, but it's not very comfortable either because of the stiffer suspension setup. So it's kind of a mixed bag as such. Now they are the last to the sub 4 meter party, but they're offering a ton of features, and this car will sell alone for the features, the design, the looks, the comfort in terms of the seats and the ventilated function and all those things. And if you're not a spirited driver, you'll actually enjoy this car because it's just so easy, it is just so refined, so smooth, and definitely some of the features are real eye candy, which who would have thought will be available in a sub 4 meter car as well. So guys, this is my vlog of the Kia Sonet Diesel Automatic. I think it's a brilliant car. Maybe I'm feeling it's even more stiff right now because of the diesel engine obviously needs a stiffer front end in order to take care of that additional weight of the diesel engine. If you like this vlog, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up. That's a like. Okay, I forgot to tell you the biggest USP of this car. The horn is the loudest in the segment, I kid you not. This is the loudest horn in the segment, and that, my friends, is the real USP of the Kia Sonet. Bye-bye. कितना मिनट का था? Fuel economy is actually quite stellar. This one should return you around 15 to 16 kilometers per liter with ease, absolute ease. But why are we vlogging again? Wasn't the vlog over? Well, since I've been talking so much about the stiffness, I thought why not make you experience the same? So here we are going to get onto a slightly stiffer road, and you can feel for yourself the amount of movement from the car. So if you take the speed brake a little bit aggressively, you can feel that. I don't know why the motor becomes quite vocal. Actually, shift lag is there when you try to shift it flat out higher end on the rev range at 4,500 RPM. Then you can feel it takes some bit of a time and you have to slow down. Actually, you can feel the suspension noise. Yeah, you will be. Okay, now I'm going to shut up and listen to this. all these porthole covers, manhole covers now, you can feel every time the car goes over it because of the suspension being on the stiffer side. And I honestly think they need to ditch these tires and offer more sporty tires or better grip tires or grippier tires, at least on the GT line trim of the Kia Sonet. Bye bye.